Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Broad Stipe, and it's for the Expelled, also known as F. It came out in 2010, and thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box, if you wish to. And this is one of those films that I did not really care much at all about. I appreciate that the movie, at least it's short. Without the end credits, it's an hour and 12 minutes long. I can appreciate that. Trust me, I can really appreciate that. And I didn't realize this was the director who did the second Strangers movie, but he also did Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. He did that movie. Johann Roberts. So before he did those two films, he did this one. It's one, okay. The premise is you have this British teacher who, I mean, the actor was not bad, but the only time we see this guy is either being kind of nasty, crabby, but he's a teacher that gives the student an F, and the student's being a prick, so the teacher gives him a bit of payback since he wants to be such a little prick. But the student doesn't like that, hits him. One of his other students is his own daughter, and she goes up and says, "Hey, are you okay?" But he's either that, or then we see him later and he's very, very paranoid. So he's either crabby or paranoid. That's kind of what we see of him for most of the film. So I don't know if I could say I liked the character. I know you're wondering why did I pause there. Because is this a thing overseas I don't know about? That giving an F to a student is against national guidelines? Is that something they made up for the film, or is that a real thing? Because I had never heard that before, but at the same time, I'm not from that area. I'm not from that country over there. So that's why I kind of stared at what I wrote, because sometimes I write notes down so I don't forget certain things. And I'm sitting there going, is this a real thing? So again, sorry for that awkward pause, but I'm like, really? Because then the teacher gets blamed for getting assaulted. Like, you're not supposed to give an F to someone. You're supposed to write something else. And then you weren't supposed to say anything either. And his parents are thinking of suing. What? Yes, so maybe you should take a leave. And then it's 11 months later. And I guess either this leave or getting hit by the student, which I guess it affects, when someone goes through an event, it can affect people in a variety of ways. I get that. I get it. But it's 11 months later. He's now an alcoholic. His daughter wants nothing to do with him. He's separated by his wife. He seems like be on the verge of losing his job. The principal lady's giving him a hard time. He smells like alcohol, but they don't find any on the premises, so they can't fire him yet. It just seemed like this is such a crucial change to the character that we should not have skipped it. Like, we should have seen what led up to this. Nightmares, flashes of the student punching him. Maybe he's thinking something worse would happen. Maybe he has a nightmare where the student comes to his house and blows his brains out or kills his family. Or he has a nightmare where he goes to his classroom and someone or a group of them beats him up, does something worse, does something much, much worse, and then maybe goes back to school, and like there are students that either test him or steer him or come this close to hitting him. The guy flinches and people laugh, and so he's getting more paranoid. It just seems like there's a lot of crucial information, crucial scenes that we could see and showcase what happens to this guy for him to be in this state of affairs where he's paranoid, but then nobody like believes him when he says stuff. There's a bit later on where he'll tell the principal or he'll tell a security guard and there's something else going on and people won't believe him. And I'm like, okay, you got mad that he gave a kid an F and he got assaulted. Almost the span of a year, what was the other events that made him this persona non grata with the daughter? It just, again, it felt like there was a lot of stuff we were missing. I don't know, maybe that stuff was in it and it got cut out. That's why the movie's so short. I don't know. And like I said, the lead guy, I did not mind the actor. But yeah, I think because that crucial information of a year was skipped, it was kind of hard for me to get a handle on his character. And the other characters, I mean, the security guards at the school, they're a bunch of tossers. They're just, dweebs. His daughter is in detention, and she acts so bitchy. I hate to say it, there's a point where she's like, blah, 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 blah. And the dad, our lead teacher, slaps her. And while I'm supposed to be horrified, I'm like, slap her again. She's a bitch. Slap her again. She deserves it. Because she just acted so unlikable in that scene. And we haven't seen what made her that way. That's the thing. We haven't seen what has made her hate her dad this way. It's one thing that maybe the mom tells the dad a little something, but the fact that we don't really see, like the last time we saw her was comforting her dad when he got hit. Now it's a year later, almost 11 months, and now she's just kissing her boyfriend there and doing stuff to, get detention, all that stuff. And then the rest of the film is pretty much the daughter wants to turn in her dad, so she goes to the principal and says, he hit me, let me sign something. And people around the school, the few left, guards, among the stuff, they get taken out one by one by this group of hoodlums in literal hoods. That for the most part, the kills are off screen. I say for the most part because there's a couple you technically see, but it's not as gory or it's not as bloody as you would think, considering its advertisement. And then here's this group of characters I'm not really sure I give a crap about. And some I've never seen before, who worked at the school, whether it be a janitor or some other person, kind of just wandering about until it's more than one, in just like a t-shirt with a hood on. You don't see their face. Sometimes it looks like they're doing parkour. Just like they're in the library and they're on top of the bookcases, or they're on top of the not the steps, but like the pedestal thing by the steps, and they're stalking. Just do parkour shit, And I'm sitting there going, you never know why they're doing it. You never know who they are. I think there's one reference on a radio or paper or something that there's been a rash of violent violent incidents. But if you're looking for there's a reason, there's an explanation, there's a story to that, there isn't. There's just simply not. And I get it. Sometimes there's films that you don't need that explanation. I get it. But at the same time, it just there's really little else to the film that for that to be nothing just makes it seem that much more forgettable of a movie, at least to me. Spoilers. If I go through the events of the film, detention, the dad slaps the daughter, I'm almost like hit her again. A guard gets knocked out, put in the garbage, a dumpster, and lit on fire. And you see, like, from the outside that it's on fire from the inside. Guy streaming. Our lead British teacher looks out the window, a milkshake's thrown at him, and when it slips off, apparently someone wrote, "You're dead," on the window. Our daughter character tells on her dad, and it's like, I know you got slapped, and yet it still seems like she's the brat. I don't think it was portrayed as well as they wanted. The musical score at times, that was rather goofy. Like, I'm listening to the score, and at times I swear I hear like, la la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la. I mean, what the hell is this? Oh, two ladies get killed, but the death scenes are off screen. So I can't really tell you how they died. Because they died off screen. The principal, she gets hit by a fire extinguisher, but it's far away and behind the window, so you get the idea, but you don't see a whole lot. You see a little aftermath, which is not too bad, but you don't see a whole lot. The daughter's boyfriend arrives, and he doesn't notice certain things he should, so later he gets killed pretty much off screen, but he's found later with, like, looks like barbed wire on him. Some cops come, two cops, and these are like some of the worst cops ever, because the lady cop sees one of the hoodlums and goes, "Hey, you!" And she gets pushed down the stairs. And the other cop finds, I think, the security guard guy or someone, looks at a hoodlum from far away, and you see the guy running towards him, and then hits the guy. This hooded person is running towards you, and the guy just stands there. Like, you see the guy's back of his head, this cop, and just stand there. Imagine, like, he's here, and this guy's coming. It's like, and you say, they go, "Why are you standing there? Were your thumbs stuck up your ass? You couldn't move? Were these cops hired from Arby's or what? I don't know." And the lead guy really doesn't do a whole lot. Like, he tried to talk to the principal, she didn't believe him. Later, he finds her dead body. He tries to talk to the security guard, he doesn't believe him. He tries to call the cops don't really believe him. Well, I guess they believe him enough that they sent two cops, to be fair. They did send two cops. No. Well, yeah. Because I try, yeah. There were two cops. I just said it, but the cop starts and oh, I don't believe you, but then the lead guy doesn't do anything. Is what I'm getting at. The lead guy doesn't really. He kind of just wanders around. There's a bit that he runs away, and then the security guard locked the door so the teacher couldn't get out. But you think there's going to be some big suspense scene, some big action scene, some big desperate fight. The hell, that was done in class of 1984, which is a much better version of this movie. That's the thing, you don't need to watch this film. Go watch Class of 1984, directed by Mark L. Lester. Got great Alice Cooper theme song. I am the future. Better characters. Much more satisfying resolution. You see the progression of the teacher, where how he went from point A to point B later on, and you see more of how that came about, and you didn't feel like you were missing a lot of vital information, and hell, that felt more violent than this movie. Again, just go watch Class of 1984. And pretty much it's the dad finds the daughter, they hug. One of the hoodlums goes after them, and the dad almost like gets out of the way, so the guy like stabs his daughter. Now the teacher finally grabs the knife and stabs the hoodlum bit in the stomach. Picks his daughter up. They go to the car. The daughter's crying, "Oh, over there, that car." The dad turns, and the mom, his ex-wife, she had been called earlier in the film by the principal, and she's arrived there. So the idea is that, oh, these hoodlums, who knows how many, because there's multiple ones, they're in the facility, the school, and they're going to kill the mom eventually. And the dad's like, well, if I don't get you to the hospital, you don't bleed to death. So now, idea what it's trying to be is trying to be this heartbreaking, emotional, impactful ending where the dad's choosing between his ex-wife and his daughter, and he chooses daughter. His daughter says, "I'll never forgive you if you do this." And he goes, "You need a hospital, you're going to die." You get the idea the mom dies, but you don't see it. She just hears something. Is somebody there? There it cuts away. Then the father's driving the daughter, and he keeps looking at the mirror. And this scene feels like it goes on for like a full minute or two. And then the movie's over. I might... Just doesn't... I get the idea, just... The actual ending didn't seem like much of an ending. It felt very anticlimactic in a way. There's not much fight against the killers. You don't take out much of any of the killers, except one, which wasn't even really a fight. The lead guy just kind of was out of the loop for a good chunk of it, it seemed. The rest of the characters, not really much to talk about. There's really not much in terms of gore. The killers, you never... No identification on the killers. There's no reason they're doing it, which I know is supposed to be much scarier. I'm sure that's what the director was going with. But I didn't think the movie was scary. I didn't think the movie was suspenseful. It just... kind of a bore to sit through that I was glad that it was short. I think it gets like a... I don't know, does it get like a 4.79 to be? What is it? Idea it was called F, but I guess it was hard to sell a movie called F. So it was also called... On IMDb it's called F, 2010. But the DVD says... But there's another DVD that says The Expelled. 4.6. Which I don't know if I would even give it that high. I know people said that it would. Oh, come on. Like, one reviewer says the soundtrack was reminiscent of John Carpenter's films like The Thing. What? I'll say this: the lead guy, not a bad acting performance. Like I said, I think a good chunk of his character was left off screen in terms of that big transition from leave of absence to being very paranoid and alcoholic. I think there's a lot you left out of the equation there. Show, don't tell, that type of thing. I do think in this instance it would have been better to know more about the killers and who they were and what was it about. Because there really wasn't much of any substance there. And if it's a slasher film, you're not going to get a lot of gore or creative kills. So just a pretty forgettable movie. So it's just not for me. I'll put it, it's not for me. Take that for what you will. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye for now.